help me reach 500 subscribers. Every like and comment pushes the channel forward, and I read every single one. Thank you. My name's Rowan. I'm not the toughest man out there, but I'm not fragile either. I'm 37, my wife Maren is 35, and we never ended up having kids. Not because we didn't hope for them, but because life kept getting in the way until the topic eventually got shelved and left to gather dust. For a long time, it felt like we were partners doing our best to survive the grind together. But recently, it felt more like we were two separate people orbiting the same kitchen. The story begins on a Thursday morning, humid, dull, a sky, so still felt like it was holding its breath. I was supposed to leave for a 3-day work trip. Nothing exciting. Meetings, scheduling, corporate noise. I'd packed light, 2 shirts, 1 pair of slacks, a book I likely wouldn't even open, and left my bag by the front door, like always. But the air felt off that morning. Heavy, charged. Maren had been distant all week. Not angry, not sad, just absent. If silence had texture, hers felt thick, sticky, unavoidable. I was pouring coffee when I heard her footsteps. Slow, hesitant. She walked into the kitchen wearing one of her baggy lavender sweaters, hair loosely tied back, eyes slightly swollen like she hadn't slept well. She froze the moment she saw I was still there. You didn't leave? Her tone wasn't annoyed. It was startled, almost uneasy. I let the warmth of the mug hit my face before answering. The trip got canceled. That stopped her cold. Her hand paused mid-reach toward the cupboard before she slowly lowered it. Canceled? Why? Now you okay? Not what happened, just why. It was incredible how much weight one tiny word could carry. Budget issues, I said. They're delaying it. Her eyes flicked toward the front door, toward my untouched duffel. It was the kind of glance someone gives to a plan that had just fallen apart. Right. Okay, she murmured. I just thought you'd already left. There was a tremble in her voice. Barely there, but unmistakable. She had expected, maybe needed, me gone. I didn't comment. I just watched as she drifted to the pantry, hands moving automatically. She pulled out a jar of oats she clearly didn't want and set it down like she needed to do something with her hands. For weeks, she'd been guarding her phone like a secret, turned face down, quick to slide it into a pocket, whispered late-night calls behind a closed bathroom door with the water running. None of it matched who she normally was. She used to overshare everything. Now I couldn't read a single line of her. She cleared her throat. So you're home today? Looks like it. A thin smile fluttered across her lips, there and gone. I need to run out for a bit. I told Celia I'd meet her. Celia, the friend 30 minutes away. The friend she hadn't mentioned in ages, until suddenly she was visiting her constantly. I nodded, said nothing. She grabbed her keys. Her hands shook. I'll be back soon. Take your time, I replied, as she walked past me toward the door. Her perfume drifted through the room. Not her usual one, the one she used when she wanted someone to notice. Someone who wasn't me. Her hand touched the doorknob, then stopped. Rowan. Yeah. You're really staying home today? Something about the question felt wrong. Too careful. Too layered. Yeah, Maren, I said quietly. I'm staying. She swallowed hard, nodded once, and left. The door clicked shut like the end of a sentence. And as soon as it did, a cold, unavoidable realization settled in. She hadn't just been surprised to see me. She'd been caught off guard. The rest of the morning was thick with silence. Even the sunlight felt muted. I sat at the table, pretending to scroll emails while my mind spun through every late-night whisper and every sudden change in her behavior. Around noon, she came back, slowly, like she was walking into a moment she'd rehearsed. She stepped inside. The room seemed to still. Rowan, she started. Her voice wasn't sharp. If anything, it sounded worried, maybe guilty. I didn't turn to look at her. Welcome back. She stopped mid-step. She expected questions, expected accusations, expected me to plead. I did none of that. I thought you'd left, she whispered. I didn't. She blinked rapidly. Why? That single word again, heavy, trembling, afraid of what it might unravel. Because I decided to stay, I said calmly, because I'm done molding myself around what you want or expect without ever saying it. Her eyes widened, not in surprise, but recognition. She finally realized a familiar script had been thrown out. The version of me who adjusted to her every shift was gone. She crossed her arms loosely, leaning against the counter. So, what now? Now! I set the mug down. Now we're both here. The trip is canceled. That's it. She stared, trying to read between lines that weren't there. Are you upset? No, I said truthfully. Not angry, just clear. She looked smaller, suddenly, like something inside her cracked. She'd gotten so used to my quiet compliance that my steadiness now felt like a shockwave. Rowan, she tried again, softer, I didn't expect. You didn't expect me to stop disappearing. I interrupted, to actually value myself. But I do, and I'm done pretending otherwise. The words hung between us, raw and unfiltered. She pressed her lips together, processing. Maybe I crossed some lines, she admitted quietly. Maybe, I replied. No gloating, just truth. She went to the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, and leaned against it. Silent, stretched, not the suffocating kind anymore, but the revealing kind. You really aren't leaving, she said eventually. I'm not. So the trip is canceled. It is. She finally looked at me, really looked. No defenses. For a heartbeat, she resembled the Marin I used to know, the one who laughed easily, the one who chose me. But now there was caution in her eyes, awareness. The dynamic had shifted, and she felt it. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Then don't, I said softly. Just understand that I'm done chasing approval that never comes freely. She let out a breath, like she'd been holding it for months. I walked toward the living room, leaving the mug behind. She didn't follow, didn't try to regain control. The whole atmosphere felt different. Sharper, honest, almost peaceful. Rowan, she called from the kitchen, voice barely above a breath. Yes. Thank you for not leaving. I paused. You're welcome. And in that moment, the kitchen stopped being a battlefield. It became a place where clarity finally settled, quiet and absolute, where the rules shifted not with yelling but with calm certainty, where I reclaimed the part of myself I'd been giving away piece by piece. And that, more than anything, felt like a victory.